Good morning. I'm Carlton Sharp, pastor of Faith Christian Center Church right here in Beaumont, Texas. And we're here on what's happening in our neighborhood. And today my special guest is Mr. Mickey Washington. Welcome, Mickey.
Thank you for having me, Pastor.
Hey, Mickey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from Port Arthur, but grew up in Beaumont, proud graduate of Westbrook High School.
You're a Bruin, man, I tell you.
The class of '86, and graduate of Texas A&M.
Okay, so after you graduated from Westbrook, you got a scholarship to go to A&M.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That's correct. I played football at A&M for 4 years.
For 4 years?
Yes, sir.
So after your college days, you got drafted into the NFL, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to this little league for 8 years and played in the NFL and was fortunate and blessed to be a starting cornerback for the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 28.
So, Mick, you spent 8 years in the NFL?
Yes.
Tell us about that experience.
It was a tremendous experience. I tell people all the time, people would ask, how was it? And I said, it's like being in Beaumont on Friday nights, like Friday night football. Everything is focused on Friday night football, at least it was when we were growing up. And I was reliving that every Sunday, and especially for Super Bowl, it just brought back all of the memories and just a proud moment for everyone who paved the way for me along the way, whether it was coaches like Sammy Bean or my stepdad and all the Little League Pop Warners that we had here. Those people, that was an honor for them.
Now, many people just couldn't fathom that a young man from the Beaumont, Texas, got the opportunity to be on the big stage. I mean, in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you put it so nicely, Pastor. From the projects.
From
we
the
could just
projects.
go from the projects to Carveterias in Port Arthur by way of Highland Street in Beaumont. But I wasn't the guy that was a superstar. I was just the guy that outworked everybody. And I was a little runt of a guy. I didn't grow until 11th grade. But I was fortunate enough, and I'll tell anybody, even today as an attorney, I will outwork you. So that was my philosophy: work hard, and it paid off, and I was blessed.
So growing up, I mean, you were part of all the little league teams, and
Yes.
did you play every sport?
I played every sport. I didn't play basketball consistently, and ironically, although I played football, track, and baseball, tennis was my favorite sport.
Really?
And I played it 1 year at Vincent Middle School.
Wow.
But back in that time, I'd been the only black kid. They weren't going to send a bus just for that kid to play tennis. So, and I'd go out and play sometimes when I was in high school at Westbrook. I felt like I could beat all the senior tennis players. I just loved the game.
So Mickey, after your NFL career, you made a decision to go and become an attorney. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So tell us about that experience. I mean, the mindset that you have to have leaving the NFL and then going back into practice.
Well, actually, you got to start before then. So I had 4 things I wanted to do as a kid. I wanted to be an attorney, own my own business, get an accounting degree, and be an attorney. I flunked one of them. I didn't become the accounting. I didn't like accounting in undergrad. But so I went on. After 8 years, I didn't get a contract. I thought I was still going to continue to play another 5 or 6 years. I was the strongest and fastest that I had ever been in my career. So I try to tell kids that I wasn't hurt. It was just because of money, the collective bargaining agreement, the minimum salary that I would have had to receive. Teams didn't want to pay that. So I found myself being at home and said, you know what? Let me back up. So in my 4th year in the NFL, I started studying for the LSAT. So I had all the prerequisites to submit to try to enter law school. When I didn't get a contract after my 8th season, I, at the last minute with one of my mom friends, applied to go to Thurgood Marshall. And for blessing, I got accepted and didn't get a contract for football and started law school while talking to different teams every week for like 2 years. Even in my 3rd year when the Texans were creating their team, I talked with the Texans, thought, I'm going to go play with the Texans. And it never came into fruition. I got a internship my 2nd year of law school, and the rest has kind of been history. But I still have done a lot with the NFL because I just recently ended my tenure as the chairman for the
That's
NFL
right.
Players Association, the union for all NFL players.
Well, how is it that the guys that play in the NFL, you see some of them haven't made the preparation for life after the NFL. What would you tell young people? Because it's not many that make a
Absolutely.
team.
Yeah.
So tell us, what would you tell young people?
I would say that you definitely have to work hard and make the sacrifices. I would not play the game if you enjoy playing it. Don't look for the lifestyle. The guys who got caught up in the lifestyle, they were playing for the material things. That never pans out. You gotta enjoy it, and especially the demands on the body and the amount of work. I worked out 6 days a week.
Wow.
I'd be in Beaumont running on Lamar track at noon. The peak of the heat. You have to love it. It has to just be an enjoyment, not so much that I can be the superstar or I can get a car, buy, house. And it's unfortunate now. Kids see the byproducts. They don't really see the hard work that goes into getting to that level. Because I wasn't the guy. There were many more guys who were much more talented than me. But it takes sacrifice and takes you using your brain, making the right choices in life, not being able to go to every party, not drinking, not hanging with bad crowds. Because now, even for colleges, they don't want anyone who's not going to make them look good. They want kids that are doing good academically, but not going to be trouble off the field as
Right.
well. And the NFL is definitely adamant about not allowing guys who've had kind of a checkered past. They're no longer hiring those guys.
Right,
To
right.
they're not signing them to big contracts.
So now, Mickey, recently you were involved in a court case with an accident. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can. It was a case with a man that just touched my heart. His family touched my heart, Mr. Glenn Grogan. He's deceased now. He was riding his bicycle. He was a family man, a man married 43 years.
Wow.
3 beautiful daughters, just a great family, deacon in the church. The type man that I want to be or hope to be. He conducted Bible studies at home. He's a great grandfather. On this particular occasion, and he's also a contractor for his employment, but on one occasion he had taken his car to the shop, and so that he wouldn't have to get his wife or someone to bring him back, he took his car to the shop early one morning, about 6:30 in the morning, and decided to ride his bicycle home because it wasn't a long distance. And as a result, he's following the traffic laws and whatnot, but an elderly lady, basically did not see that he was in the turning lane. So he was in a turning lane to go on to his side street to go home, and that lady, assuming that was a lane that she could drive in, hit him, and he was deceased on contact.
So you had to actually take this case to trial.
Well, we didn't get to trial. We wanted to take it to trial. It did not get to trial, and we really were happy that it did not, because it was bad for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Obviously, this elderly lady, and she had a passenger who was also elderly. They weren't trying to do this, and I'm sure they've had some dealings getting through with this and getting over. But for the Grogan family, it was a huge trauma to their family life, to their family. This was the man that they leaned on, and he was just a pillar in the community, just an all-around good guy, helping at the retirement homes, doing so much. It wasn't just about his family, his neighbors and whatnot. Just an impact that so much that I tell everyone, Beaumont is like any other city with cyclists. Typically in the early mornings, you need to be on the lookout for cyclists. Look out for their reflectors, them riding they have to obey traffic laws like a vehicle. I got stopped once in a bike ride because I was riding on the sidewalk. And I've had people, because I cycle, try to yell out the window, "Hey, get on the sidewalk." Well, you're not supposed to. It's illegal to ride on the sidewalk.
Wow.
The bicycle is treated like a vehicle. And nowadays, there's so many cyclists riding here in Beaumont and other cities that we have to be cautious and respect cyclist rights as well.
Now, since you are a cyclist, there are some safety tips that you know you want to share with the public, those who are watching today, that you know they may need to follow in order to be safe on the road.
Exactly, and one of the main ones is keep proper distance from cyclists. Cyclist doesn't always see the cars coming. Keep a proper distance. We've all heard this. Don't text and drive. Cell phone. If you have someone in the car being a distraction, please be mindful to watch the road and whatnot. Know that cyclists will cross the roads at different junctures where there's not an intersection. They still have to turn in a turning lane. Things of that nature, and look for the colors, the reflectors on the cycle. Look for the colors. Some of us wear the loud jackets or reflecting jackets or shirts. And then for the cyclists, you know, let someone know what your route is, when you're starting, when you're returning, what is the actual route that you're going to be riding.
That's good.
And I ride typically in groups, so it's really great to ride in groups and have people verbalize signals and clearly communicate to cars, oncoming traffic, and what have you. So it can just be safe. Everyone can get home safely.
So how important is it for the cyclist to have on the proper safety gear?
It's very important for the cyclist, depending on if it's at dawn, riding very early when the sun hasn't come up, or riding at night. And as cyclists can install lights on the bicycles. We ride with lights on the wheels, lights on the handlebars, even lights on the seats.
Yeah.
And some people put them on their helmets. So that can be really good to signal to drivers that in those times where it's early morning or late night, that they can be visible. Also, it's just imperative that drivers understand that they have to respect the cyclists that are on the road.
Right.
As well. And knowing that a cyclist can stop like almost immediately sometimes, and they're not always in control of the bicycle. So it's a better advice is just to keep a proper distance.
Now you also encourage the cyclists to have information on them, emergency information.
Exactly. There's emergency bands you can wear that will have contact information if there is an accident, have medical information, insurance card, what have you. We have all the little shirts or gadgets.
Yeah, y'all can't get much in them shirts, man. I mean, hey, y'all be like Mr. Hulk or something, you know. I mean,
yeah, you're right. But then also you have the shirts, and you have on the bikes, the seats, the little bags that we carry, that you can put those critical documents in, so that if anything happened, someone would be able to contact your family in the case of an emergency very quickly.
Okay, before we wrap up today, Mickey, tell us if somebody needs your services, how can a person get in contact with Mickey Washington, the attorney?
Well, it's very easy. MickeyWashington.com is my website address for my law firm, and so it's Mickey Washington, Mickey, Washington.com, or 713-225-1838 is my number. But they can call anytime. We have someone answering those calls anytime, so we look forward to it.
Wonderful. Hey, listen, I want to thank Mickey for coming and sharing with us on what's happening in our neighborhood. You know, I am so godly proud of him. You know, he graduated a year after I did, but to see the success that he's had, and the fact that he decided early on what he was going to do after football. Most people, you know, the goal is to just get to the NFL, but everybody don't make it to the NFL. So you have to be prepared for life after that. And so he has made that preparation. And again, for those of you who are cyclists, and those of you who are just drivers on the road, let's be cautious, you know, mindful of other people that's on the road, especially cyclists. We see the different cyclists that in our neighborhoods. So let's make sure that we're aware of them and watch out for them. So again, I want to thank him for joining us. I want to thank you for joining us today, again, on what's happening in our neighborhood. And we will see you next time on our broadcast.